Praise Petey, a new adult animated show from Freeform. So this was a happy surprise. I want to say this is Freeform's first original animated show, or at least their first original adult animated show. As far as I can remember, I don't think they've done anything wholly original, but I could be wrong. But I think I'm right on the adult aspect. So, like I said, this was a happy surprise. I went on Hulu one day and I saw the first 2 episodes and I watched them and I absolutely enjoyed them. And this show came out weekly and I kept watching it weekly until the last few episodes came out. So it's 10 episodes long. This show follows Petey St. Barts. She's this New Yorker who works as an assistant at a magazine or a fashion magazine office. She has it all, kind of, not really. She has a fantastic job that she loves, an amazing apartment, and an amazing boyfriend that she absolutely loves. In the beginning of the episode, she ends up losing all that. She gets fired from her job for calling herself stupid. I guess it's one of their policies where they don't allow women to call themselves stupid, and they get fired right away, or they'll get fired. Her boyfriend cheats on her. Her boyfriend's a plank of wood, by the way. Cheats on her with her best friend, and they accidentally burn down her apartment. So she ends up having to move out to the boonies, or this southern little town in the middle of nowhere, to take over this town that was gifted to her by her father, who passed away recently. And it turns out the job in town she's gifted is a cult. So she ends up becoming a cult leader, and that's the plot of the show. Petey, this New Yorker, goes to a small town, tries to reform it, and it turns out, it's a cult town. Very interesting premise. I actually really like it. They could have gone dark with it. Captain Fall, a show I recently reviewed, also has a dark premise with these human traffickers and drug dealers and everything. It often goes very dark, but this show stays more on the light, funny side. They don't make anything seem too dark until like the last 2 episodes. It gets a little bit dark. But overall, this is a fantastic show. I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. I like the characters. I like Petey. She's voiced by Annie Murphy from Schitt's Creek. She does a fantastic job. Her love interest, Bandit, is voiced by John Chow, who does a fantastic job as well. I almost didn't recognize his voice. It sounded familiar. And I was like, is it him? And I had to look it up, but he does a fantastic job. Like I said, this is an interesting premise. The creator of the show, she said that she was inspired by a CW show where this doctor loses her position in New York City, or a big town, and she ends up having to move to a small town where her estranged father had a practice, and she takes over, and she gets, she has to conform to this small town while being this big city person and taking over this business. And she thought, what would be an interesting premise if she had to go take over like a super weird job. And she's like, if she had to take over a cult, that'd be crazy. So that's where she got the idea for this show. And it really works. I really like all the characters. I like all the side characters and the main characters. You have Petey, who's the main character. Like I said, she takes over the cults and becomes the new cult leader. And we just follow her as she tries to improve the cults and change things in the cult. That's usually the basis of each episode. She's either trying to save the cult from financial ruin or update it to modern standards, and how it conflicts with her New York style, or how the cult people kind of like the cults and their weird, crazy cult ways, which ends up, for crazy funny storylines, which I really enjoyed. Like I said, I love all the characters. I like her love interest, Bandit, who they have amazing chemistry. Each episode is them just kind of almost kissing, and then you're like, are they going to kiss this episode? Are they going to, get together this episode? Because they really have this really hot, burning passion for each other, but they don't like each other because Petey has taken over the cults. And like I said, she decides to change it from within, which doesn't often work for her. She's able to change a few things, but more often than not, things don't work out her way, or she messes something up. But Bandit used to be part of the cults, and his mom, May, who's Petey's right-hand man, is still part of the cult, and he's trying to change things, because he actually got out of the cults and he came back after Petey's dad died, to hopefully get his mom and all these people out of the cults, because he grew up with a lot of them. So that's kind of his journey throughout the show. He gets like a different job every episode, and he's always trying to get people out of the cults, or he's hoping to get people out of the cult and hoping to change Petey's mind. And they're always like butting heads, but they really have this, like I said, burning passion, which I really enjoy. Petey has a best friend who owns a bar, Eliza, I think is her name, Eliza, who has been part of the cult since she was a little child. So she gets that, she had a secret TV, so she's not completely in the cult, but she's still kind of like slightly brainwashed by the cult. So she kind of conflicts, or at times she's like, yeah, they're crazy, or at times she just loves a lot of the cult culture. Like I said, overall it's a fantastic show. There's 10 episodes. I think it's really funny. It's really up my alley. Like I said, I like the characters. Really enjoyable. I like the animation style. I love all the side characters. There's a lot of great funny jokes and a lot of episodes that I really enjoyed. I give this show a 9 out of 10. I really recommend it if you like adult comedy. I don't know if you'll love it or not, but I like it because it doesn't go too hard, or it's an adult comedy that doesn't use a ton of gross out humor or a lot of like blood and guts or cussing as a way to be like, look, we're adults or whatever. It uses it when it needs to, sparingly, but overall it lets the comedy and all the jokes and the characters do the heavy lifting for the show. So I want to talk spoilers. Like I said, I recommend this show. Definitely go watch it. It's on Hulu right now, so you can watch all 10 episodes. So I'm going to talk quick spoilers because there is some crazy stuff that happens in the final 2 episodes. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So in the second to last episode, Petey kind of, she starts getting a little crazy. So Eliza gets a girlfriend and she starts, wanting to leave the cults. And it kind of drives Petey crazy, on top of she's trying to stop this rumor that the town is spreading, so it drives her a little crazy, and she ends up going a little power hungry and throwing everyone into this pit of shame, which is just a small hole where they stand in. Like, it doesn't even cover them completely or anything. It's just like up to their knees or their bellies, and it's not a big deal. But she goes crazy and she puts them on in there, which kind of leads to the next episode where she's just kind of tired of all this cult stuff. Like, she wants to go out of town to receive this award of becoming this big, amazing female boss lady. But the cult people and her best friend are like, well, you can't leave. Your job is to stay here until the comet comes, which I didn't mention it, but it's a crazy space cult that's waiting for a comet to come to take everyone away to space. So like, you can't leave. You have to wait until the comet comes. And she's like, well, what if I go check on the comet and see if it's not going to come anytime soon? So she checks on the comet and she's like, there's nothing there, of course. So she goes tell the people, and you think she's going to be like, there is no comet, because she decides to tell them that the comet is coming. She's like, the comet is coming, it's coming tonight. And Bandit, who's been trying to get the people out of the cult, is like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm tired of all this crazy cult stuff. I'm going to rip the Band-Aid right off, and when they see the comet not coming, they're all going to, be over it and move on. And he's like, no, they're going to freaking collapse and go crazy. It's like, you can't just rip the Band-Aid off. You need to have a system in place to help deprogram these people. So her and Bandit get together to make a plan, and they finally kind of get together. They sleep together and they become a couple. But then Bandit says kind of a bunch of stuff that upsets Petey. He's like, I'm so proud of you giving up everything that you have. Your dad gave you this amazing position, this amazing power over people, this town and everything. He's like, and you're giving it all up to go back to New York to be a nobody. You don't have a job there. You don't have anything. You have no respect whatsoever. So it kind of makes her feel bad, and she kind of, again, snaps a little bit, and she's like, how do I keep, the power? She essentially, when the comet doesn't come, she goes out in front of them, and, her and some of the hunks, or one of the hunks and the psychiatrist, bandit psychiatrist, kind of inadvertently came up with a plan with her to, keep control over the cults without having all the comet stuff. So she goes out there when the comet doesn't come, and she's like, "Look, the comet isn't real. My dad lied to us. He lied to you guys. He lied to me." And she's like, well, you know what would make you feel better if I gave you a little hope? And all the people are like, yes, yes, give us a little bit of hope. And she kind of goes into this rant where she's like, I am the comet. I am New Utopia. And she essentially becomes, takes on her role as the new cult leader. But it's very crazy. It's a very cool, crazy moment. You're like, oh man, I can't believe she's a new cult leader, like legit. She's just not trying to change everything. And all the cult people love it and they're excited. They're like, yeah, Petey is the comet. And, they fall into the old trappings of being, cult people. As the crowds disperse, her best friend confronts her. She's like, you lied to the people. The comet isn't real. And then Bandit comes and he says the same thing. He's like, I trusted you. We had this plan. And you fell back into this cult. And this is kind of where the cliffhanger ends. All of a sudden, the comet does come, flown by an alien, which is kind of out of nowhere. It's very surprising. One person jumps on the comet and it flies off, and Petey, Bandit, and Eliza are just kind of there, just stunned. Where like Petey just completely took over the cults, but it turns out her dad was right that there was a space comet coming to take everyone away. So they're left there flabbergasted, and then we get one final scene of her mom accepting her award that she was going to get in the beginning of the last episode, and she finds out that this podcaster has made a podcast about Petey and the cults, and that's kind of where the show ends. Where like, oh no, now people are going to know about the cults, and Petey's taking over the cult officially, and but the comet is real, so it's kind of a crazy ending. There's a lot of things just kind of coming hard and fast. Like the comet thing's the most surprising thing, but it's a good cliffhanger. Like I said, I enjoyed the show, so I really hope we get a new season, and the new season delves into Petey being in charge of the cults. While knowing the comet thing was real, I want to see how her, Bandits, and Eliza just kind of handle that, knowing the cult's real, and seeing how, outsiders deal with the cults. Like, are they going to come and harass them or try to get people out? Are there people who have been stuck there, who are brainwashed by the cults, who have family members who are going to try to come save them? It sets up a lot of cool, interesting stuff. Like I said, this is a fantastic show. I've barely scratched the surface of all the cool stuff that happens. There's a lot of fun, great episodes, and I do recommend it. Like I said, it's great. I love the characters and everything. Even the small characters are well developed and interesting in my opinion. A lot of fun jokes. So like I said, go watch it. It's on Hulu, all 10 episodes. Great show. I give it like a 9 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed this. I've seen a lot of adults animated shows in my lifetime, and Netflix and Hulu tend to throw out a bunch of them, but I think this is definitely the first one where I just completely fell in love with it. From first episode to last episode, there have been some that I've enjoyed, but this is like, I just absolutely love this show, and I do recommend it. So if you watched it, what do you think? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are there better adults animated shows? There's no wrong answers. Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.